Calvary Charge, the March of the Machine, Commander Precon, and our commander is Sadar Jabari of Zalfir. For 1 white, blue, black, we get a 4/3 human knight with eminence. Whenever you attack with 1 or more knights, if Sadar is in the command zone or on the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card. It has flying and first strike, and whenever this deals combat damage to a player, return target knight creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So let's talk about the potential upgrade for this deck. I'm thinking Zombie Infestation. We discard 2 cards and we create a 2/2 black zombie creature token, and it may seem like it has no correlation with this deck, but if we have a really good knight in our hand and we need to have it in the graveyard and we don't want to pay that mana cost for it, and we're able to deal our opponent's combat damage, so a lot of requirements there, this is a way to do that. We can get that knight from our graveyard to the battlefield if we deal combat damage with our opponent, and if it's in our hand, again, we can discard it with Zombie Infestation. Feast of Sanity, another enchantment. It says whenever you discard a card, this deals 1 damage to any target and you gain 1 life. Since we're going to be discarding hopefully a lot, this could be a great option for us. We can start taking out some of our opponent's creatures with 1 toughness, or dealing our opponents 1 damage if we really wanted to. Hero's Heirloom. This is an equipment that gives the equipped creature +2/+1, and it says as long as its equipped creature is legendary, it has trample and haste. So if we give that to our commander, hopefully we're going to be getting through and dealing our opponent's damage because our commander doesn't have trample. It does have first strike, which is nice, but that's not going to go through and hit our opponent. Faith of the Devoted. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, you can pay 1 mana. If you do, each opponent loses 2 and you gain 2. And again, this is focusing more on the discarding part of it all, which we may be able to take more advantage of with this card. Fire Shrieker. The equipped creature has double strike. That means we get to hit our opponents twice, and that means 2 knights from our graveyard are going to be on the battlefield. Dragon Throne of Tarkir. Kind of a weird one, but it's a great way to give our creatures trample if needed. When we equip this to a creature, it now has Defender, which that means it can attack, but it does give that creature pay 2 mana, tap. Other creatures you control gain trample and +X/+X until end of turn, where X is this creature's power. So if we have a big creature, or if we need to give our commander trample, we would equip this to another one of our knights or another one of our creatures to help our commander get through to hit our opponents. Reconnaissance Mission. Since we want to hit our opponents, why not benefit from that? Whenever a creature we control deals combat damage to a player, we get to draw a card. Knight of the Ebon Legion. This is a knight for 1 black mana. I thought it was fine, but it says for 2 and a black, this gets +3/+3 in death touch until end of turn. And at the beginning of your end step, if a player lost 4 or more life this turn, we get a +1/+1 counter on this. So maybe this can replace a knight that you're not very passionate about in this deck. This could be another option for you. Phyrexian Arena. This is another great way to start drawing cards, and it took a huge price dip, so now it's around $2 for a passive way for us to get a card every single upkeep of ours. Skull Clamp. If we want our knights in the graveyard, not just from our opponents killing them, but now we get benefit from them dying. Hopefully we can sacrifice them. That I'll mention in a little bit. The equipped creature gets +1/-1. Whenever the equipped creature dies, we draw 2 cards. Our creatures dying is not a bad thing because our commander can bring them back when it's dealing combat damage to an opponent. So I thought this would be a great way to start generating more card draw. Altar of Dementia. Speaking of sacrificing our creatures, for only 2 mana, we get this really sweet artifact. It says, sacrifice a creature. Target player puts a number of cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power from the top of their library into his or her graveyard. So that means we can choose ourselves as the target player, mill ourselves, and have more potential of getting more knights into our graveyard, because how we can look at it, the knights in our graveyard are as if they are in our hand once our commander deals combat damage to an opponent. I really like this one for this deck. Kindred Discovery. When this enters the battlefield, we have to choose a creature type, so we're going to choose Knight. Whenever a creature you control of the chosen type enters the battlefield or attacks, draw a card. This is a sweet one for this deck. I really like it, and as you can see, I love card draw, and I think this deck is lacking in that area. So if you are also looking for card draw, this is probably going to be the one I have to suggest. This or Reconnaissance Mission. Thank you so much for watching. If you like any of these upgrade cards, there'll be a link in the description down below. You can also purchase this Precon in the description down below if you don't have it already. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.